Hello, this is Wanjiro US. So welcome once again to today's video. And yesterday we did a video on the importance of an invitation letter when you are to attend a visitor's visa interview, a U.S. visitor's visa interview. And we said it is not mandatory, to have an invitation letter, but if you have it, it serves as a strength to your application. In other words, it doesn't mean that if you don't have an invitation letter, you may not get a visitor's visa. It all depends on how you're going to present yourself before the consular, the confidence you're going to show, and the way you're going to answer the questions. And in particular, we said the key thing when you go to the interview, you have to always show your ties back to your home country. Like, even after visiting US, you are going back home. You have to have all the reason, make your case, make an argument, and show that you are going to go back home. That is the main essence. Now, we said that a good invitation letter, it can as well serve as a strength to your application. So what should be contained in a good invitation letter? Number one, host information. It should contain the contact information of your host. It should contain the name of your host. It should contain the status of your host. Is your host maybe a U.S. citizen or, have a lawful permanent residence, like have a green card? And, I know there are times when maybe you might have a friend or a family and they tell you, we can't be able to send you an invitation letter for now because maybe they don't have a green card yet or they are not yet U.S. citizen. Sometimes there could be so many reasons why maybe your family member or your friend is not able to invite you at this time. So when they tell you that, don't feel bad. This cases, it's a process, and there are people who are here, they're still trying to find their way out in matter of settling. So you just don't have to feel bad, you just have to give them time. So we have said, number one, it should contain your host information, the contact information, that is maybe their cell phone number or their home number, and also their address, their home address is key, as well as their status, either U.S. citizen or they have a green card. So number two, that letter should contain visitors information. You who is to be invited, your information, your full name, your contact information, like your cell phone number. It should also contain your birth, your date of birth, It should also contain your passport number. So those are like the visitor's information. So number three, that letter should show clearly your relationship as a visitor and the host. It should clarify clearly what is your relationship between you who is intending to visit and your host. Are you family members? Are you relatives? Are you just friends? Or how do you know each other? It should clarify very clearly. Number four, visit details. The letter should clarify clearly the reason of your visit. Are you visiting in order to attend a graduation? Have you been invited for a graduation or a wedding? Or are you just visiting a family? Or are you visiting a friend? It should clearly indicate the detail of your visit. One, the reason of your visit, and that will be one of the major questions you will be asked during the interview. Why are you going to US, or what reason is taking you to US? The reason should be very clearly state the purpose of your visit. That letter should also indicate the duration of your visit. For how long are you going to be in US? And that answers also another interview question you'll be asked. How long will you be in US? How long do you intend to be in US? So that answers that question. As well, it should also include the itinerary, or the planned detail of your visit. What places are you going to visit while in US? You know, when you arrive at your host, do you intend to go to places to visit? You know, it should include that. You know, it should also show arrangement for your accommodation. You know, how or who is hosting you, like how are you going to stay with the host, or they are going to, you know, have you stay in a hotel. You know, all those details should be included in the letter. And number 5, that letter should also show the cost, like as far as your visit costs are concerned. You know, is the host going to take care of some cost, or you are going to take care of the cost yourselves? So you should include also the financial responsibility. Is it the host who is taking care of that, or yourself, or part of it? You see, so that letter should include that. So what you realize in this letter, when all that details is included, it actually serves as a strength to your application, because the moment you go to that interview, the questions that you are going to be asked, you know, what is the reason of your visit? How long are you intending to be there? You know, who is hosting you? You see, all these questions, somehow they have been answered in this letter. That's why it serves as a strength, because when you are answering the questions, you know, like, what is the purpose of your visit? So, of course, you're going to say, I've been invited, you know, to attend this graduation. And then here is the letter. So you hand over the letter to the consular, and of course they will start looking at the letter. So they may not even ask you so many other questions, because probably the questions they intend to ask you have already been answered in the letter. And remember, again, the questions that you are asked will be based on your application. For the B1, B2 visa, you always apply the DS-160 form DS-160. So the way you answer or you apply, every information you put in that in that form, all the questions that will be asked will be around whatever you provided. Nothing will be outside. So it is very important, you know, to understand how you complete your form. And that is why it is advisable to apply for yourself, because you know yourself better. And when you answer your questions, you will not be like when somebody else have done it. You see what I mean? Because when somebody else have done it, you may not be a part of it. But when you do it yourself, you know for sure what you said. And remember every detail you give in your form DS-160, because that is what the questions you're going to receive during the interview will revolve around that. For instance, if you are asked, how many times have you visited or other countries, like, you know, have you traveled outside your own country? You can be able to tell all the places where you have visited, and your visa, you know, your passport should show the stamped visas if you have gone. So if you had indicated, like, you have been maybe to China or to Thailand or any other country in your DS-160, and then you go and you are asked that question, like, have you been outside of your country in visiting other countries, and then you say no, but in the DS-160 you had said yes, you see the contradiction, then there's some dishonesty there. Then, you know, the consular will be like, something is feature here. So whatever you feel or how you feel your DS-160, you know, it should always correspond with the way you answer your question. So this is Wanjilo US. Like, follow, share, and remember, YouTube channel Wanjilo US. Subscribe and follow for more stories. Bye.